Hello and welcome to Making Gold in Guild Wars 2. This is part 3 of the video series on market manipulation. Today we're going to be talking about gauging market depth. Now that in part 1 we've found an item with inelastic demand so that our efforts will be rewarded with a sufficient rise in price, as well as finding an item with a limited or easily controlled supply, it's time to gauge the depth of the market. In order to manipulate the market, we need to see how much gold it will take. We know that about 2 million copies of Guild Wars 2 were sold by mid-September. I wouldn't be surprised if ArenaNet announces that we've hit 3 million or more with the holiday sales coming up. Last we heard, around 400,000 players log in daily. With the Universal Trading Post, we are playing in a very, very big swimming pool. By comparison, World of Warcraft's 10 or 11 million purchasers of Pandaland are spread out among 500 servers in North America and Europe alone, putting an average of 20,000 players on a single realm. So we're looking at 2 to 3 million versus 20,000. It is at a minimum 100 to 150 times the size of that market. Unless, of course, we've played EVE Online, but that's another thing entirely. In video 17b, I talked about how supply in the game is actually infinite, but that we are only concerned about the quantity on the trading post. Here comes the caveat that I said would come. We can divide supply into 4 parts. First, there's a supply currently on the trading post. Second, there's a supply in people's bags, banks, collections. Third, there's a supply of items which can be crafted, salvaged, redeemed, or mystic forged into the item. And fourth, there's the infinite supply which can be gathered and looted. Each subsequent layer of supply is larger than the last. What we see on the trading post is like the tip of an iceberg, where the vast amount underwater is what we should really be concerned about. The moment that you dive in and buy up the item on the trading post, you are only buying up the first layer of supply, the portion of the iceberg which is above water. People who are emptying their bags will toss what they have on the trading post, happily selling at the same price as you or undercutting you. If you hold on buying their supply as well, then this iceberg will rebalance, continually rising to the surface as you shear off another layer. Unfortunately for us, the supply, as we see on this page, is not finite like this pyramid or like an iceberg. The longer we hold this price up, the more it will cost us, because more players will go out in the world and start farming the item, because it's more for them to farm the item than to buy it on the trading post. So before we start, we have to be able to gauge how much gold we will need to hold the market up before we start raking in the profits. Look at the current price of the item on the trading post. Check with Guild Wars 2 Spidey to make sure that this is the quote normal price of the item, and that it hasn't suddenly been flooded with items, or that somebody else hasn't come in and bought up all the cheap listings. Count the current sales. We're going to go ahead and do that here live for you. I'm going to pull up Omnonberry, seeing as we've talked about that a couple of times. Let's take a look at a count of what the current listings are. We have 5,698 sell listings. I'm going to do some fuzzy math here. Let's clear that because you didn't see that right there at all. The number was 5698 total listings on the trading post. Multiply it by the current sale price. Whoops. And I fat fingered that right there. 5698 times 3.19. There we go. That gives us 181 gold, 76 silver. Okay, that's how much it would roughly cost for us to double the price of Omnonberries. Now, there are 2 parts where our math is fuzzy. Number 1, we aren't going to be buying every single listing. There's going to be a lot of listings that we leave alone. Okay, so this number is too high because of that. However, all but the lowest listing is sold at higher than 319. Therefore, most of the listings we were buying are going to cost more. So it will roughly balance out to about 181 gold that we're going to spend. That's just, as we said and we showed you on that pyramid, that's just the very top portion of that pyramid. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this amount of gold and we're going to multiply it by 5. Why 5? It's just a guess, pure speculation really. But remember this. If the amount that we bought is just at the tip, how much is below the water? That's where the number 5 comes in. We need those reserves to place a buy order wall so other people can't buy and get cheap items, as well as buy up all the supply that deeply undercuts us. So that 5 times is about the amount that if we plan on holding the wall for a day or 2. If we only want to hold on to it for an afternoon, which I would recommend, especially if it's your first try, only multiply it by, let's say, by 3. Okay, so that's only 545 gold, right? That's pocket change. If you want to do it for an extended weekend, which is a lot of fun, try multiplying it by 7 or 8. You probably just choke, seeing how much gold this will take, especially for such a cheap item. Don't worry though, you will get it back in the end. In the next video in this series, we'll go into what I call waterfall items, which are items which are downstream from the item that we're manipulating, and the effect of what those waterfall items will have on our strategy. After that, we'll almost be ready to start playing the market. As I said before, if you'd like one-on-one help with making gold in the trading post, make a thread on your favorite Guild Wars 2 forum, and link a video of mine and send me the link. Increase my views, and I will increase the gold in your bags.